Hi everybody, this is Roxy and I am doing my weekly card, and again I'm going from the card magazine for inspiration, or cards magazine. It's the I think it's the Valentine or volume 7 issue 2 February 2012. So my inspiration card is from Audrey Pettit, A Moment in Time. And I really liked how she, just did 3 butterflies and then kind of changed each one up a little bit. It just didn't put 3 buttons on them and whatever, but she kind of changed them up a little bit and really made them unique. So I'm going to do some Valentine's cards. I'm also going to just go by her, kind of think of this as a sketch, and use craft cardstock for the background, a strip of pattern paper on the bottom. Maybe for Valentine's I want to kind of beef it up, so I'm going to do another strip of pattern paper on top. And then I've got some dollar stamps from Joann's, the Studio 112. And instead of, what is that, label, I'm just going to stamp it on some paper and then corner it like a label. And then I haven't chosen my ribbon yet. I'll probably just go with some seam binding tape, or seam binding. And then for the decoration, I'm going to do either the Tim Holtz heart, or I have a punch. So I'm either going to do the Tim Holtz heart, or I might just do the little cherub instead of doing the 3, which, I wouldn't be ending up with this kind of little decoration. But I think I'm going to be able to do the hearts, 3 hearts. And then for decorating those, I've got, these are some $1.50 bin Michaels things, and this is last year's K & Company, probably a couple of years ago actually. And then just some stash making memory flowers that I glimmer misted. And then my reds and pinks buttons. So here's the papers that I've chosen. I'm not even going to venture to guess whose is whose, but I kind of just threw some papers together, pulled out of my pink and red section in my 12 by 12 rack. And then these are 2 glitter pages or papers from Die Cuts with a View. Those 2. Okay. So I will get started, and I'll be coming back. So see you in a bit. Hi everybody, this is Roxy. Okay, so I made the card, as similar to this as I could get. Where am I? There. And so now I made one Valentine card, made that one, and a Valentine card, and I'm going to do another Valentine card on camera. So, and they're really, I like how they're turning out. But anyway, so here I go. Okay, I know you're not supposed to score it, blah, 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 score the paper, but I'm just going to make these happen quick. Excuse me. All right, so where'd my paper go? Okay, so I have a question. I would like to know, I'm sure everybody's kind of hearing a little scuttlebutt about image swapping, i.e. stamp an image on 20 tags and swap it out with some friends. And I have been searching and searching I've not found where the original source of that is, and I'd really like to know where that is or who that was, because I have a feeling that it may be kind of a rumor, and maybe somebody mentioned, oh, you know, you're not supposed to, or that's copyright. That's, you know, those are copyright protected. You're not supposed to trade them or whatever. So I would, you know, and here's the rumor that I've heard is that YouTube is cracking down. Anybody who did or people who are doing a video on swapping images, stamped images, they're either making them delete the video or they're not letting them monetize with the video or making them take it down. I don't know what the real story is there, but I'd really like to know if anybody actually knows where that started or who was reprimanded for that or who was warned about it, because I'd really like to know if there's an actual starting point on that. I like I said, I'm skeptical because you know how rumors can start and just go crazy, and like I said, I've not been able to verify any source, and I'd kind of like to know what's going on with that because I talked to a few friends. I left a message on Tim Holtz's Facebook, and he won't answer. Of course, it is CHA, but nevertheless. And all I asked was that, you know, this is what's been going around, and, you know, what's his take on it. And I just said, you know, some people think that you buy the stamp, it's your, you know, product. Basically, you can do what you want with it, which I agree to a point. Because when I started out stamping, the rule of thumb was that you could sell cards that you had stamped the image with, or stamped the image on, but only up to like 20 cards. You know, you couldn't like mass produce them, which, when you think about it, it's kind of a stupid idea anyways. Like, who's going to sit and stamp 1,000 cards, you know, and then sell to sell them. But anyways, so that's what I've always remembered, and I know the Critter Farm stamps or Greeting Farm stamps, whatever they are. I know she has something on her website of not allowing that, and that's fine. You know, companies can do that. I'm all for that, but I find it hard to believe that this is like across the board thing. I don't think most companies really care. Because, you know, when you come down to it, you know, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. It's like, it's not like we're swapping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of one stamp image, you know. And I don't think companies or artists or whoever are going to care about that. And I know a little bit about copyright protection only because I'm a writer and I've been in publishing for, you know, 30 some years. And I know that, you know, I know that with the internet, my pieces can be on the internet. If a magazine or a newspaper that I write for, if they post one of my articles on the internet, it's fair game. People have done it with my stuff. They've taken it without permission and put it on their website, or, you know, put it in a newsletter and mail it out, and there's nothing I can do about it. I could, you know, I mean, I could actually. Well, no, I can't. The magazine can, but I can't do anything about it as the author, because I sold my rights to it when I, you know, because I wrote for the magazine or the whatever. I didn't like write it and then sell it. I always was either assigned the story or, yeah. So anyways, I'm digressing, but so that's why I kind of find it hard to believe that, I mean, I know that YouTube's got some, I don't know if it's Gremlins that do this, or if they've got some kind of software that can do this. I don't know. I'm sure people will, other people know. But I just find it hard to believe that they're going to sit and watch all these videos to find out who's stamping images. I mean, it's just kind of doesn't make sense. But maybe they are. So anyway, so I left the message on Tim Holt's Facebook page, and all I said was, you know, basically, there's, you know, like a rumor going around or whatever, you know, that YouTube or whatever is cracking down on these stamped images, yada, yada, yada. What's your take on it? You know, some people say that once you buy it, blah, blah, blah. So this person, I hope she's not in our little community of crafters, but she left a message, you know, like responded to my message saying she disagreed with it, and that's fine. You know, I don't expect everybody to agree with that. But she said, you know, you can't buy a Mickey Mouse t-shirt and then copy that and make a bunch of t-shirts and sell it. And I'm like, well, actually, you can. You know, because, I mean, you can. But anyway, so I got kind of snippy. And I just wrote under that, somebody better tell Andy Warhol, because he obviously did it. He did take Mickey Mouse and, you know, well, the rest is history. I mean, I mean, I don't know. And if nobody's seen what Andy Warhol did, he took Mickey Mouse, Mao Zedong, you know, Campbell's Soup Can, Marilyn Monroe, Diana Ross, you name it, he took them, their image, and reproduced it, silk screen, blah, 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 different colors. It's just the whole Andy Warhol look. And so, and can guarantee you, he didn't have to buy copyright, or he didn't have to pay for that, using that copyright. So, well, so then a lady left a message like, oh, well, you know, your relatives own it for 75 years. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But anyways, so it's a weird little controversy that we got going on. And I really kind of doubt that it's real. But that's just me. I know, like, okay, there's like certain companies. If somebody was stamping a Harley Davidson stamp and giving away, I would say, okay, I believe it, because Harley Davidson, they guard their logos and their brand and their icon and everything like it was the end of the world. And I know that for a fact because I wrote for a book publisher. We wrote books on automotive, you know, any kind of transportation vehicle, airplanes, trains, automotive, boats, cars, motorcycles, and we did, you know, and that was a fact. Harley Davidson does not mess around with their brand, but there's very few companies that are like that. I mean, they literally will. If they see some little Joe Blow, Hoots-Dee-Doo, or whoever using their logo without permission, they will sue them, or they will warn them. And then, you know, if they keep it up, they'll go after them. But I don't know. I just kind of find it hard to believe. But, you know, if anybody wants to correct me, or if anybody actually, it's not even correct me. I want to know the source. I want to know the person who actually was reprimanded or told that they had to cease and desist with those swaps, because I just find it hard to believe, like I've said a million times. So, somebody please enlighten me on this. It's not even like I swap all these tags and images. It's just, you know, kind of doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I want to know the truth or why. Okay, so oops. This was the best idea I did. I used to have all my buttons, all my vintage buttons in this big, huge ginger jar canister. And I would dig in there and, you know, when you have buttons and stuff, you have like pins and needles and whatnot. So my big button jar thing, one day I noticed there was a big needle in there and I thought, well, I can't dig my hand in there now because I know I would have caught it. So, oh, I like that color. So I took them all out and I found all these milk bottles that we had. And well, in here. And it's way better because I colorized them. So I don't have to sit and dig and dig and dig and try to find, you know, two of the same color or similar color. So, oh, I went and saw One for the Money today. The Stephanie Plum. I love Janet Ivanovich's books. So that was really fun. That was a cute movie. It's a fun little getaway and kind of a silly movie. It was all women in the audience, of course. And they'd scream and laugh. It was funny. And Katherine Heigl, her and Jennifer Aniston are kind of the same. They've kind of one note, or one dimensional sort of, you know. Like, you know what you're going to get with them. And not much more, probably. Although Jennifer Aniston she's done a couple, or one movie, I think, where she was, you know, serious or whatever. But anyways, it was cute. It was a fun movie to go see. So I would suggest it. It was fun. All right, so. Oh, and I love these stamps. They really stamp nice. They're a little bigger than what the prototype was, but I don't mind. I'm just gonna do this. Okay. I kind of don't like that. I don't like that on there. See if I can get it off again. There. Put something else on there. Yeah, that's cuter. Okay. Cuter. That was too big. This one was. But I can still use it, obviously. All right. Oops. Okay, so I'll show the prototype again. So here's the prototypey. Where is it? Can you see? There. Wait, I gotta go. I'm still trying to get rid of it. Trying to get used to this camera. Okay, so here it is. Okay. I hope it shows up okay, because I have to show these. This is the original that I did of the prototype, or the one from the Cards magazine. And I like how it turned out. I used the Cuttlebug Dotted Swiss. Excuse me. And then This is the Tim Holtz acorn die, and I just kind of made it look like a flower. And just some stash paper, and then I used color lily pad glimmer mist for the ribbon. So that's the prototype. And then the Martha Stewart large butterfly. And then that's the one I just did on camera. Losing my voice. And again, this is just paper from my 12 by 12 stash, making memory flowers, and then just vintage buttons. This is from the $1.50 bin at Michael's. And I really like these stamps. They're from Studio 112. They really are nice looking stamps when they're stamped out. Excuse me, so I like that. I forgot, this stamp is from Hero Arts. Just a nice little batch of stamps there. So that's that one. And I didn't color the ribbon. I like it just plain white. And then this is the one I did earlier. Excuse me. And again, this is paper stash. I used black cherry glimmer mist for the ribbon. And then this is the Tim Holtz little cherub hearts. And I'll see if I can get this to glitter. It's die cuts with a view glitter stack that I used. So the little hearts will glitter. And then I punched out 2 little lovebirds. I think they're actually just a robin, but I just made them as lovebirds. And then again, the little $1.50 ribbon, and I put vintage buttons and another of the Studio 112 stamp. So I really like this card. It was fun to make. So I hope you guys are going to join me. I've got Monica Lipscomb has joined me, and Lisa, what was it? Scrapping Pink Lady, I think it is. So this is kind of turning into a fun. And what's nice is I'm going to have a ton of cards. Instead of saying, oh crap, I don't have a thank you card, I'll just buy one, which is ridiculous when we've got all this stuff to make one. So join me next week when I do another card. Thanks, everybody. Bye.